In the hustle and bustle of our modern lives, it is all too easy to get caught up in the frantic pace of everyday activities. We rush from one task to the next, our minds constantly racing with worries and plans. Yet, amidst the noise and chaos, there is a divine call to simply be still. It is in these moments of stillness that we can truly hear the voice of God guiding us, comforting us, and reminding us that His timing is perfect. Be still and know that I am God. These words from Psalm 46:10 are a powerful reminder of the sovereignty and omnipotence of our Creator. In our human nature, we often feel the need to control every aspect of our lives. We make plans, set deadlines, and strive to achieve our goals according to our own timelines. But how often do we pause to consider that God's timing might be different from our own? Consider the story of Sarah. She had dreams and aspirations that she had meticulously planned out. She was determined to achieve them by a certain age, convinced that her life would be incomplete otherwise. But as the years passed, Sarah found herself missing her self-imposed deadlines. She began to feel anxious and disheartened, wondering if she had missed her chance. It was during one of these low moments that Sarah stumbled upon the story of Abraham and Sarah in the Bible. Despite their advanced age, God's promise to them was fulfilled when Sarah gave birth to Isaac. This story resonated deeply with her, and she began to understand that God's timing is not bound by human limitations. It dawned on her that what she perceived as delays were, in fact, God's way of preparing her for something greater. Life is a series of seasons, each with its own purpose and timing. Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Sometimes we may feel that we are stuck in a season of waiting, but it is during these times that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events in ways we cannot comprehend. Our finite minds struggle to grasp the infinite wisdom of God's plans. We've all experienced moments when it seemed like a door had closed on an opportunity we desperately wanted. The job we didn't get, the relationship that ended, the dream that felt out of reach. It's easy to feel like we've missed our chance. But God is bigger than our missed opportunities. He is the God of second chances. Meet David. He had always dreamed of starting his own business. He invested his time, money, and effort into a venture that he believed would succeed. But despite his hard work, the business failed. David was devastated, feeling like he had squandered his one chance at success. For a while, he wallowed in regret and self-doubt. But then, through prayer and reflection, he began to see that God was leading him down a different path. David learned that God's plans were far greater than his own. He started a new business, one that aligned more closely with his passions and values. It wasn't easy, but through perseverance and faith, he found success in ways he never imagined. David's story is a testament to the fact that God never gives up on us. He takes our failures and turns them into opportunities for growth and redemption. Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Even when we can't see it, God is at work in our lives, weaving a tapestry of grace and mercy. He uses our struggles, our missed opportunities, and our failures to shape us into the people He created us to be. In the stillness, we can hear the whispers of God's promises. It is in these quiet moments that our hearts become receptive to His guidance and our minds open to His wisdom. We begin to understand that our timing and God's timing often differ, and that's okay. His plans are always better, even when we don't immediately see it. Consider the story of Jacob. He had big dreams of becoming a renowned author. He poured his heart and soul into his manuscripts only to face repeated rejections from publishers. Each rejection felt like a punch to his gut, and he started doubting his talent and purpose. During his darkest days, Jacob turned to God in prayer, seeking solace and direction. He found peace in the words of Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse became his anchor, reminding him that God had a plan for his life, even if he couldn't see it yet. With renewed faith, Jacob continued writing, but this time with a different perspective. He no longer chased success for validation, but wrote from a place of authenticity and purpose. Eventually, his work was recognized, and he found success beyond his wildest dreams. Jacob's story teaches us that God's delays are not denials. They are His way of preparing us for something greater. In our relationships, too, God's timing plays a crucial role. We often encounter people who enter our lives at precisely the right moment, bringing joy, support, and lessons that shape our journey. Sometimes, relationships end, and while the pain of loss can be overwhelming, it often paves the way for new beginnings and deeper connections. Emily had experienced the heartache of a broken relationship. She believed she had lost her chance at true love. But through her pain, she found comfort in God's promise in Psalm 34:18. "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Emily focused on healing and growing in her faith. She immersed herself in community service, deepened her prayer life, and pursued her passions. It was during this period of growth that she met someone who appreciated her for who she truly was. Emily realized that God's timing had brought them together when both were ready to love and be loved genuinely. God's timing is evident in every aspect of our lives, from our careers and relationships to our personal growth and spiritual journey. It's important to trust that He knows what we need and when we need it. His timing is not just about the right moment. It's about preparing our hearts, minds, and circumstances to receive His blessings fully. Let's consider John, who felt like he had missed his chance to make a significant impact in his career. He had always dreamed of being a teacher, but ended up in a job that didn't fulfill him. He felt stuck and unfulfilled, wondering if he had missed his calling. One day, John decided to volunteer at a local community center, helping children with their studies. It was here that he rediscovered his passion for teaching. The joy and fulfillment he felt while helping those kids reignited his dream. He realized that his journey had equipped him with unique experiences and skills that he could now use to make a difference. John's path to becoming a teacher was unconventional, but it was perfectly timed by God. His story reminds us that it's never too late to pursue our dreams. God uses every experience, even those that seem like detours, to prepare us for our true calling. Throughout the Bible, we see countless examples of God using imperfect people and seemingly missed opportunities to fulfill His perfect plans. Moses, who felt inadequate and afraid, became a great leader. Joseph, who was betrayed and imprisoned, rose to power and saved a nation. Peter, who denied Jesus, was restored and became a pillar of the early church. These stories remind us that God is in the business of second chances. As we navigate our own journeys, let's remember that God's timing is perfect, and He is bigger than our missed opportunities. He sees the bigger picture and knows what's best for us. When we trust in Him and surrender our plans, we open ourselves to the incredible possibilities He has in store. In the stillness of nature, we can often feel God's presence most profoundly. The beauty and serenity of creation remind us of His majesty and the intricacy of His plans. Just as every flower blooms in its season, so do the events of our lives unfold according to God's perfect timing. Margaret had always dreamed of traveling the world, but life had other plans. Responsibilities and circumstances kept her from fulfilling that dream. Now, in her later years, she felt a deep sense of regret, wondering if she had missed her chance to see the world. One day, Margaret's children surprised her with a special gift, a world map and a series of planned trips to some of the places she had always dreamed of visiting. They had saved up and made arrangements to take her on these adventures. Margaret's heart overflowed with gratitude and joy, realizing that her dream was finally coming true, even if it was later than she had expected. Margaret's story reminds us that it's never too late for God to fulfill our dreams. His timing may not align with our own, but He always has a way of making things beautiful in His time. He knows the desires of our hearts and delights in surprising us with His goodness. We often think that missed opportunities mean lost chances, but with God there are no dead ends. He is a master of redemption, turning what seems like a loss into a new beginning. The story of Ruth and Naomi in the Bible is a perfect example. After experiencing great loss, they found new hope and a fresh start through God's provision and timing. Michael had battled addiction for years. He felt like he had squandered every opportunity for a better life. Shame and guilt weighed heavily on him, and he doubted that he could ever find redemption or purpose. In a moment of desperation, Michael reached out to a faith-based recovery group. There, he found support, understanding, and a renewed sense of hope. Through the love and encouragement of others, he began to see himself through God's eyes, worthy, loved, and capable of change. As Michael's faith grew stronger, he felt called to help others who were struggling with addiction. His past experiences, once a source of shame, became a powerful testimony of God's grace and redemption. Michael's life was transformed, proving that God is indeed the God of second chances. God's grace is limitless, and His love knows no bounds. He sees beyond our failures and mistakes, looking at our potential and the plans He has for us. In Isaiah 43:18-19, God says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Lisa had always struggled with feelings of inadequacy. She constantly compared herself to others, feeling like she could never measure up. But one day, as she read her Bible by a peaceful riverside, she came across Psalm 139:14, which says, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." These words resonated deeply with Lisa. She realized that she was uniquely created by God with a purpose that only she could fulfill. She began to embrace her gifts and talents, finding confidence in her identity in Christ. Lisa's journey of self-discovery and acceptance was a testament to the transformative power of God's love. Lisa's story encourages us to see ourselves through God's eyes. We are not defined by our past or our perceived shortcomings. We are beloved children of God, each with a unique purpose. When we understand this, we can step into the fullness of who God created us to be. The beauty of God's plan is that it includes each one of us with all our strengths and weaknesses. In Romans 8:28, we are reminded, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Every experience, every challenge, and every triumph is part of the tapestry God is weaving in our lives. Relationships, too, are woven into God's perfect timing. When we seek His guidance, He leads us to people who will walk with us, support us, and help us grow in our faith. Sometimes we have to let go of relationships that are not part of His plan, trusting that He will bring the right people into our lives at the right time. God's love for us is boundless and unconditional. He desires for us to live in the fullness of His grace, experiencing His peace and joy in every aspect of our lives. In Ephesians 3:20, we are reminded that God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. As we bring this journey to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the lessons we've learned. Life is a series of seasons, each with its own challenges and blessings. In the stillness, we can hear God's voice guiding us. Reminding us that his timing is perfect. Even when we face setbacks and missed opportunities, we can trust that God is orchestrating something beautiful for our lives. Remember, God's love for us is infinite and unconditional. He sees beyond our failures and regrets, offering us second chances and new beginnings. When we surrender our plans to him and trust in his timing, we open ourselves to the incredible possibilities he has in store. Let us embrace his grace, find peace in his presence, and live our lives with faith and hope. Thank you for joining us on this journey of faith and reflection. We hope that this video has inspired you to find stillness in your daily life, to trust in God's perfect timing, and to believe in the power of second chances. May you continue to seek his guidance, grow in your faith, and experience the fullness of his love and blessings. As you go forth, carry these messages in your heart. Be still and know that he is God. Trust that his timing is perfect, and believe that he is always with you, ready to turn your missed opportunities into new possibilities. Stay blessed. Keep the faith, and may God's peace and love be with you always. Until next time, take care and be blessed.